Motherfuckers, I'm back. What can I say? The time has come, and your boy is forced to put an early termination into his retirement notice. And here I am, replacing Recon Jack in Hive Mega Beedrill Division. And on the left, you will see what the team was. And on the right, you'll see what the team is after I have made 8 drops. Yeah, they say simple's better, but hey, fuck them. I thought I actually spent quite a bit of time going over this team, and there were not really the simple changes there to be made to fix the speed tiers and add a good grass, things like that. And yes, I am saying Rotom Cut sucks. So it took a complete overhaul, which is what I have for you guys here. Now, I'm going to take a little bit to explain some of the changes I made. And yes, I will be planning on uploading these battles that I do for this season. May not be one a week, may just be a few video, and may just be here and there as I feel like it, but I will be attempting to get these all uploaded for you guys to see. So starting off, he is Heatran, and I kept the Heatran, one of the 3 Pokemon I kept, I believe. Heatran, Gastrodon, and Megalakazam I kept for obvious reasons, right? Megalakazam with no pursuit, that's some busted shit. Heatran and Gastrodon, well, they no longer have that hidden power thing out, so they become a little bit better. I would go ahead and drop Hawlucha for Tangrowth. It gives me no great pleasure to drop Hawlucha, which is a Pokemon I very much like, and it is better this gen, but nothing is going to be as steady and as consistent of a performer in a bring as Tangrowth is. Tangrowth, for the same price, is going to be a Pokemon you bring to more games. That's going to be a more featured piece of your game plan, so I thought it's something I would rather have. Then I'm going to go ahead and drop Goodra for Inteleon. Goodra, it's a good Pokemon, but it just doesn't really fit any role. It doesn't, like, it kind of does Goodra thing. It doesn't really fit in and do something that the rest of the team on paper needs. Inteleon, it helps with the speed tiers quite a bit. It's something I actually think is a really nice tier 3, and I was happy it was there. And also I kind of just wanted to use it. Next up, I will be dropping Rotom Mow for Durant. And a part of that is that I did already have a good grass type now that I added Tangrowth, which it's actually one of the best, if not actually no, it's not the best anymore because Ferrothorn without Hidden Power Fire, but it's one of the best. And Durant, speaking of no Hidden Power Fire, it gets that boost. It also gets a boost of gaining First Impression this generation. The biggest reason I went for Durant is it does help with my speed tiers. When I looked at other Pokemon that help with the speed tiers, there are things like Mismagius, although I didn't see it really being a Pokemon worth changing your speed tiers or your speed investment around. And then there was Blacephalon, but had a perfectly good no Hidden Power Ground Heatran right there, which I'm happy to keep. Yeah. So I will add Durant there, helps my speed tiers. Also, it's kind of a decent mon for tier 4, especially considering there was not many good options left. I actually didn't have too many options to kind of take the team in a direction. When you look at tier 1A, the only 2 Pokemon left were Jirachi, which no one has been able to explain to me why it's even in tier 1A, and Deoxys Defense, which That's what I think about Deoxys Defense. Next up, I'm going to drop Cryogonal for Mudsdale. And part of that, as you can see later, I dropped T-Tar, unfortunately had to, but Mudsdale is going to pick up the slack as a rocker. Also, when I was looking at tier 5s, I mean, I could grab something that fits a role for me. And Gastrodon already does a little bit of what Mudsdale does. But I thought really my best strategy was just to get a good Pokemon that I could bring and have strong use for. That's Mudsdale, not a role filler. It helps a little bit with rocks, but it's just a very good Pokemon to have for a tier 5 slot. And it seemed to me to be the best mon that was available there. So I would drop the Cryogonal, which I still think is a booty Pokemon, but it wasn't that obvious of a Pokemon I'm trying to get rid of, considering it's better with heavy duty boots. But I would just rather have Mudsdale. It's a better Pokemon, clearly. I will be keeping Mega Alakazam because that is a busted Pokemon, especially with no Pursuit. It did lose Barrier and Signal Beam, but most of what it needed Barrier for anyway was dealing with Pursuit. And yeah, Signal Beam. The main thing about Signal Beam is sometimes a move was well, it's got other options. That's kind of Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast. They generally will pick up the slack. It's not that big of a deal. I'd say this mon definitely got significantly buffed, even losing those, considering the fact it can no longer be pursued, which opens up your game plan, allows you to be more freely offensive with it. And then, of course, that's where it shines, where it does best. Now, a lot of people do like the Mega Zam Lele Core. To me, it's kind of a gimmick, right? I don't really like to build around gimmicks so much. I like to have Pokemon that do their own thing and aren't really attached to something else. Lele is good, but it did get nerfed significantly with the drop in effectiveness or terrain. And I will be dropping it for Kyurem, which will be... Kyurem is actually significantly better this gen than it was last gen. It gained a lot of different options. It gained Dragon Dance, which is always... That just kind of blew the door wide open for it being a physical attacker, which previously it would almost never be. It does have base 130 attack, which is really good, but it didn't have that ice move, and it didn't have... I guess it had Dragon Claw, but Dragon Claw's not really good enough of a move to be a reliable stab for a setup mon, so you kind of had to rely on Outrage, particularly with not having the second stab. And it still doesn't really have the second stab, but it did get Icicle Spear, which is better than nothing. Basically, you consider that on about average, it'll do 75-ish, so almost like having a 75-ish power physical ice move, which better than nothing. This Pokemon also did benefit from the creation of heavy duty boots, and it gained Freeze Dry, which is always a very nice move to have. No longer are water types a response to this thing, although I don't know if they were before, because Sup takes advantage of them pretty hard. But no longer are they a response to any kind of choice set. So Kyurem actually got quite a bit better, and I think it'll be fun to try in lieu of Lele. Unfortunately here I will have to drop my boy Tyranitar to pick up Kinkeldurr. I like T-Tar. Its value wasn't phenomenal at tier 1B. It loses Pursuit. I think its price needed to adjust accordingly. It was a 1B last gen. I think this gen it's I'm wondering in my head if it's a 2A 140 price mon or if it's a 2B 120 price mon. Frankly, it could be either without Pursuit. It's quite a bit of a drop off for it, so unfortunately had to drop it. The value wasn't so right, and I would go ahead and grab Conkeldurr, which gives me Defog and a good old fighting type to replace Hawlucha. And yes, Conkeldurr in this gen does learn Defog, which means it's my most reliable hazard removal. Dropping Rotom and Cryogonal, I had to pick up the slack a little bit with hazard removal. Frankly, Conkeldurr is probably better removal than both of them combined, so it does that job well. Conkeldurr was still priced at 2B with 120, so I'm going to gain 40 points by making this move. Frankly, I think they're about equal in value, so that was always an attractive option to me to make that. But, you know, still love you, T-Tar. Don't get mad at me, get mad at the people who price the Pokemon in the league. Next up here, actually, I'd kind of rather explain it as Kangaskhan to Eel and then Ariados to Garbodor, since that makes more sense. And I had 40 points here, which let me upgrade both of them one tier. Moving from Kangaskhan to Eelektross, I had 20 points. Eelektross, it sounded like it's someone's busted a nut to go out there and get. There weren't many good tier 4s available, and Eelektross did fit a few roles. Losing Rotom, I lost a ground immunity, and I lost an electric type. Eelektross picks up some of the slack there. It also gives me, of course, it has its wonderful Salt Vest set, which helps me kind of check things more on the special side. It lets me get a little bit more creative with my defenses. And yeah, those of you who follow me long enough know that you can never sleep on Coil Facade, the true set. And lastly, we're going to upgrade Ariados to Garbodor. Ariados sucks, Garbodor isn't that bad. It gives me some hazards options. Didn't have any spikes before, so at least gives me the option as well as T-spikes. Plus, Garbodor can do some defensive things that aren't completely terrible. And yeah, all this is going to be my new and improved team. Let me know what you guys think about the changes. Let me know if you think the team on the left or the team on the right is better. But if you don't say the team on the right, I might block you. Just a fair warning. I'm liable to get triggered by your microaggressions. And that's it for this video. And the next one I make in this league should be my first battle. The team is 1-1 -3? -2 or -3 differential, which is better than what we took over last season, so we're ready to rock. Thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good night.